When planning for my trip to Örskärs, I wanted to accomplish two things: to see the lighthouse and to see the rare pool frog. I had some obstacles to get there and also to get back. In the end, I had to use an unconventional way to recover the boat. Here is the story, how it went. With Google Street View, I found a ramp, but the ramp turned out to be too steep. I had to disconnect the empty trailer to get up with my front-wheel drive car. After finding a parking spot, I could set off. Although it was rather calm here behind the trees, there was a 20-knot wind blowing from the south-southwest on the outside. It would settle a bit during the afternoon, but there might get rough waves before that. In the rough waves, the mizzen and head sail is the best combination. In between these islands, it was a calm spot to set sail. When leaving the bay, the waves increased. The wind had dropped to 14 knots, but as I had waves, I didn't put up the main.
The first glimpse of the lighthouse, Örskärs fyr. Örskärs Lighthouse.
As I rounded the head, the waves shrunk, and I got a pleasant ride. With some sea views of the lighthouse. One of the landing spots I had planned for turned out to be really nice. A nice kitchen area and close access to the lighthouse.
So I'm following this track here in the forest towards the lighthouse.
And here it was, the second oldest lighthouse in Sweden. I bought tickets for the top tour and lunch for the next day and enjoyed the view. Örskärs. The lighthouse from 1740. The red buildings by the base is currently part of the hostel. They used to hold the cannon crew. The first lighthouse from 1684 was struck by a lightning and burned to the ground 1738. In 2 years this lighthouse was built. It was manned until 1997. Around 1990, the cannon was removed and the bunker system was filled with cement. This is the most northern tip of the islands in the geographical Stockholm archipelago. The keeper and the rest of the staff lived in the white building. Now these buildings are also part of the hostel. In the red building, by the flagpole, there is a restaurant. I will have lunch there tomorrow to check it out. This is one of the few spots on the east coast where the sun sets in the sea. Most of the island is a nature reserve, including the northern tip that you can see here. Eventually, I had to pull back from the lighthouse. Move through the forest. To my campsite. As I set up the boat for the night, the wind increased and shifted towards northwest. I had to move behind the rock to get more protection. The forecast predicted 40 knots of wind during the night. I had to tie up the tarp well. And nearly missed the sunset. Good morning. After breakfast, I set off for the second objective. It turned out that the pond was just 100 meters from the campsite. The frogs are a bit careful. As I got close, they stopped quaking. But after sitting still a few minutes, they were on it again. Here is a close-up on one. Here are some action going on. The pond frog likes warm weather, a living fossil from a warmer time. This one is resting. I was lucky to get a glimpse of the frogs. This was probably the last day of this mating season. Enough frogs. Let's explore this island.
A pond to be.
I started to walk north along the rugged coast. And back again.
There are some marked trails here on Örskärs, which you can take. See, marking there, clearly marked, and it's quite easy to follow. This is also a frog pond. I heard some on the other side. So now we have done Svartglo. That was a swamp by the sea. Now I'm heading for the Ålängsviken. Now I'm at Ålängsviken.
After touring the south part, I made it back to the lighthouse, in time for the top tour.
Walking up the lighthouse.
Algots ground. You can see a stick at the horizon.
En bit ut. Men
Ja, det ser jag.
du ser vitt i
Ja.
det är Argos grund. Det ligger rätt i norr.
I ended the tour at the restaurant, Tasty, and the glimpse of the weather station at Örskärs. Before starting my way back.
The swell has calmed down a bit. feeling. Very pleasant ride with just the main. It's so well balanced and easy to control. And you have the miss and it sometimes demands so much rudder if you not trim it exactly according to the wind direction.
To get up on the steep ramp, I had to invent an extended pulling system, lifting the boat onto the trailer and then using the winch to pull the whole trailer. Before I could drive away. This was all for this time. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.